I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. Basically, yesterday I released a video where I talked a lot of shit about a specific archetype. I was making a video talking about all the brand new support that's coming in a couple of days' time, and in that video I talked a lot of shit about Phantom Knight and how I didn't really think it was going to be that good due to a specific restriction they had on their skill. Well, of course, since making that video, there's been a massive development in what people are believing to be the best endfields for Phantom Knight, which have just about solved all the problems I had with this deck at all. So now, I look like a complete and utter idiot, which is nothing new. So what exactly was this major development in the Phantom Knight endfield that's completely changed my opinion? Well, you see, the reason I thought the deck list was so bad was because of the one restriction that specifically says you can only use one Xyz effect per turn during your opponent's turn. Meaning, if you summon out your big boss monster, it's just going to be a worse version of Raid Raptor, as you're only getting one negate, as opposed to the potential 3 you would have if the restriction wasn't there. And that's the only Xyz effect you can use for the whole turn, so you can't even summon out an Abyss Dweller next to it and use the Abyss Dweller's effect. You can't do that, it's one or the other, and just one effect per turn. So that made the deck seem really bad going first to me. But what if there was an Xyz monster that was disgustingly broken that this deck could summon that didn't actually use an activated effect at all?
Now, if you're playing Floodgates in your deck and if you're playing against Floodgates, you're going to be noticing that, well, whenever you flip this card, you're not really doing much other than flipping a card and then attacking and attacking and attacking, and then maybe they have a set card, and then you're attacking very slowly, inspect the border, a little bit of damage, Fossil Dyna. I'm so bored.
Yes, today we're talking about Evilswarm Ophion, a card that up until now was recently limited to 1, but recently got unlimited because basically nobody was playing it. Because unfortunately for this card, it was locked into an archetype which is not very good to say the least, so it was sort of held in this prison of just dogshit archetype, and it never saw any play whatsoever, despite being an absurdly broken card. So what this card does is it takes 2 Evilswarm monsters, normally. When this card exceeds material, level 5 or higher monsters cannot be special summoned. So already, you just shit on the entire meta, because let's have a look at some of these meta decks here and see just how many decks would care if they can't summon level 5 or higher monsters. Blue Eyes would care, Zombie would care, Shadow would care, TG would care. TG technically does have an out to it. They can summon their little level 3 first if they're running it. But if they don't run that, they're screwed, or if they don't open their droplet. Galaxy Eyes care, Mayakashi care, Shiranui care, Tenyi sometimes care, and Striker is the only deck on here that actually doesn't give a single shit. One deck in the entire meta that would actually be able to play through Ophion fairly easily without drawing into a specific tech card. So, disgusting, and it doesn't require an activated effect to use it on your opponent's turn. Alright, the second part of this card is once per turn you can attach one Xyz material from this card and one Infestation Spell and Trap card from your deck to your hand, which will normally be an Infestation Terminus. This card can target one Evilswarm monster you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, banish the first target. If you do, return the 2 targets to hand. This is really, really good, as it means if you're up against an opponent who, let's say, wasn't able to summon out any big boss monsters because you floodgated them, so all they're going to do is set a couple of crackdowns and hope that during your turn, they can activate their back row to steal your cards or remove your cards just by using their back row. Well, during the end phase of their turn, you flip your trap card, banish your Ophion, and remove both their back row cards, meaning your field is just free to just do whatever it likes to lethal your opponent. And your field doesn't just end on a single Ophion. No, it ends on a little bit more than that. So that's the gist of what the card does. Let's see how we're summoning it. So this card is summoned via a 1.5 card combo of basically any of your Phantom Knights. Any of them at all. For this combo, this one doesn't use your normal summon. The other combo I'm about to show you will use your normal summon, but this one doesn't. All it needs is a Torn Scales, or your Boots, or your Gloves, I think the name of the card is. I should really remember these cards. Yeah, Torn Scales, Cloak, or Gloves are the 3 you need for any of those 3 cards is a 1.5 card combo to just summon out this disgusting endfield. Let me show you. Alright, so this endfield was made by Dreary, by the way, so thank you Dreary in the DLM Discord for making this endfield. But this is what we're doing. So activate your skill to discard your Torn Scales, sending a copy of your Cloak to the graveyard. Obviously, if you had Boots, you just use Boots effect to send the one you're missing. Alright, grabbing your trap cards. This is via the skill, by the way. Skill discards to send Phantom Knight monster to the graveyard. Alright, banishing your Cloak to search for your Boots. Alright, special summoning to the field because a Phantom Knight was banished from the graveyard. Activating the effect to discard the one card from your hand to send a copy of your Sword to the graveyard or any of your Phantom Knight trap cards. Alright, special summoning your Boots. These two become a copy of Breaksword. Using the Breaksword to be sent to the graveyard via the skill. Alright, this then puts a level 4 on the field from the skill still. Alright, then we can activate the trap card to revive the Phantom Knight. Use the Boots Engraved to banish itself to search for a copy of your rank up magic, which can now be used on this little level 3 here, which has no materials below it, so this card can be used on it, to rank it up into a rank 4, which can be your Ophion. Alright, and then because you summon on top of an Xyz monster, you can pop your own Unbreakable Mind. This is actually like, I would never have thought of doing something like this in these combos, but this is actually such a clever way to do it. Pop your own trap card, it then grabs a hold of your rank up magic force. Then of course, this card can detach to search for your trap card, grabbing your Terminus. And then during the opponent's turn, well, during the opponent's turn he would do it, but he didn't do it in this replay. You'd activate the rank up magic to rank up your Rebellion here into your bigger guy, whatever his name is, the big Negati guy that I've forgotten the name of, but you guys all know who I'm talking about. So you just do that during your opponent's turn and during their main phase. So, a disgusting end field of a Negate, a Floodgate, and a Bounce too. And if your opponent does have a Droplet here, they're dropletting your field, and you're still going to have a Terminus to bounce 2 cards. So it makes this field way more safe to droplet than what it was before. It looks really, really nice. Alright, and you also notice it's not as susceptible to things like Forbidden Lance as well. Like the other end field where you're relying on the trap card, the other trap card to try to pop a card by using your rank up magic. Now if they use a Forbidden Lance on this card to stop you ranking it up, you're not relying on that stupid trap card, you're still going to have your Floodgate and you're still going to have your Bounce too, so a very strong end field. And the other way you do it is with the other Phantom Knight monster. By the way, this means you have 13 one-card starters in your deck list. You have 3 of all the Phantom Knights I've shown you, and of course you have the Rotor as well for a search. You have 13, I believe, starters in this deck list now, which is a lot of potential starters. So, anyway, let's keep going. So, using the skill, going to be sending your Boots to the graveyard, sending your Torn Scales, grabbing your trap card. Alright, banishing, searching for your rank up magic. Going to be special summoning because a card was banished. Discarding a card, grabbing your Ancient Cloak to graveyard. Cloak has to banish itself, searching for your Ragged Gloves. Normal summoning that. These two can then go into your Breaksword, sending it to the graveyard with the skill, grabbing your rank 4. Banishing the gloves to send a trap card to the graveyard. Then we can banish the trap card, grabbing your Breaksword back. Once again, doing the exact same things as before, ranking it up, popping your trap card, grabbing your rank up magic. Of course, using the Ophion to search for your trap card. Before finally flipping this up during the opponent's turn, making a copy of your Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon for that absolutely disgusting end field. So, yeah, and that's just about it. You've also got the Torn Scales on the field for follow-up during the opponent's turn. And keep in mind, with both these end fields, I've just shown you 1.5 card combos. They both had 2 extra cards in hand for potential follow-up on the following turn, or extra back row maybe an extra lance or something to defend your cards from droplets or Book of Moons or whatever else. It's just an insane looking end field that's going to be... Yeah, I thought this deck was not going to be very good, but now that I've seen this, I've completely changed my mind. This deck is very likely to be a top tier deck. So I just wanted to make a quick video showing off all this stuff as it looked really cool to me, and I think you guys would appreciate seeing it before it releases. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Just a reminder, if you guys enjoyed this, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will be doing a video probably first on Phantom Knight as soon as this releases, showing this deck list on the ladder and showing best ways to play it and all that kind of stuff. It's probably going to be a 30 card deck list, which is kind of funny to say because you have so many starters in this. You might as well play up to 30 cards just so you have a high chance of drawing a starter and a low chance of drawing the annoying trap cards that you want to keep in your deck list and you want to mill them. So yeah, this deck should be fun. If you want to see that video, remember to subscribe. We'll be coming out as soon as this box releases, probably on the first day. So remember to subscribe for that. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.